Hello, friends. This is John Klein III of episode 88 of Shadow and Flame of Magic, the podcast. And today we're going to review Power Pack 44. So let's get to it. And I did have a fourth issue that was going to connect to the Marvels, but rereading it, it was a great comic, but Carol wasn't in it at all. So I grabbed. So we're just going to do 3 months, and it's December now. So I think we did it. So we're going to finish off Inferno with this issue, and then What If for the rest of the month. So that'd be nice. And one final issue 41 to do as well. So I might do that and then do What If. But we'll figure out how we do it. And so this is Power Pack 44. Inferno continues the aftermath of Revenge of the Boogeyman Part 3. And it's Power Pack on the cover. They're all sad as they're leaving their parents. And the new mutants are there, including, or consisting of Spot, Danny, Gossamer, and Warlock. This comic would have cost you $1.50, 200 cans, or 50 pence, and it is comic book code approved. This is special guest scripts by Juliana Jones, special guest pencils by June Bergman, special guest inker Hilary Barta, letters by Joe Rosen, colors Dennis Oliver, edits Carl Potts, and same old editor-in-chief Tom DeFago. Revenge of the Boogeyman Part 3, What Price Victory? Presenting the heartrending conclusion to the most controversial chapter in Power Pack's history. And we find the Power Pack fighting all these demons. It is still Inferno, that fateful night when the veil between this world and the hellish dimension called Limbo was shredded. New York is still overrun by demons, and these streets themselves twisted into a surreal nightmare as supernatural horror threatens to engulf reality. Hours ago, Power Pack fought and won their most desperate battle to save their parents from demonic hate crazed boogeyman. It was a battle that cost them their secret identities and more. But for heroic children of power, sworn to save their world, the fighting has never stopped. And there's a reference here. I forget what the younger boy's name is. But they were talking about how they exchanged their powers, and there's an editor note here saying you should know by now that the kids all had their powers switched during their now classic saga of the Snark Wars, Power Pack 22 to 25. So 19 issues later, and they're still commenting about it. And so they saving people around. They try to save a lady's grandmother, but she turns into a giant, like balloon version of herself with bat wings. So they're trying to bring her back to normalcy. And since this is Inferno ending, we see the sky stepping disc is now is closing, and all the demons are going up into it. And so they are done. And so they go home. They see their parents are all smiles, but they're acting extremely weird. And they've always worried that if their parents ever found out they were the heroes known as Power Pack, that they would lose their minds. And we see that they are definitely faking the smiles because as soon as they walk out of the room, they crumble. Next morning at breakfast, they're still all smiles and smiling. And they just are in disbelief that, they've essentially been lied to this entire time, which I have a theory about superhero identities is a form of gaslighting to your loved ones with all the lies you got to do to cover your secret identity. And so their dad's trying to his best, trying to ask about their origin story. Their mother excused herself and starts making lunches and like holding back tears. She's trying to tell. Man, I wish they repeated their names in this. Yeah, Katie's the younger one and Julia's the other one, the older one. And then Alex is one, and then I'm forgetting who the younger boy's name is. I don't think they name check anyone. Anyway, so she's telling Katie to be careful when on their way to school. And then she like laughs to herself about like you've been fighting aliens and winning space wars and meeting all types of people like and I'm telling you to be careful when you cross the street. You can fly for crying out loud. And so she starts crumbling. Their father comes in to hold her. And they're like, well, go off to school. And they're like, well, there is no school. Like, there's demons everywhere. So they just go patrolling. We still see some vehicles are demonically possessed. So they knock those out. There's a weird picture of Katie on a sub with very defined butt, where like her costume's too tight, or she has like a wedgie. But I'm like, I don't think we should be drawing little kids' butts this detailed. Come on. She's like, what, 8? Maybe 9? It's not great. Anyways, different time, I guess. Oh, I didn't even say that. This comic would have came out in March of '89. Okay, so I guess great movie year '89. Okay, so they break more of these subway demonic trains. They take the roof of the train and or not transport everyone to the hospital shortly after the smoke clears. And they're carrying the roof of the with all the individuals, and they take him straight to the hospital where Dr. Ajay Bhatnagar is trying to heal them all or do what he can to help all the patients, but he's overwhelmed. And then we see Danny, Sunspot, Warlock, and Gossamer land. And Danny says, sorry, Dr. Bhatnagar. The New Mutants had to make a short detour through outer space. See Cloak and Dagger 4 for details. And we're neglected to introduce you to our younger teammates. And with Danny's mind power, psychic powers, she's able to make people's fears and desires come true. And so his desire for more help, she manifests a whole army of doctors and nurses, and they're only as good as he thinks they are. So, positive reinforcement. But he tells her that, okay, well, now we have hands, but now we need supplies. And so the New Mutants and Power Pack run off to get them. And so I guess this is back in '89 where, like the doctor says, I don't know how, but if you can at least get ER restored, that would be most helpful. And there's an editor note saying emergency room. So I don't know if emergency rooms are brand new, but we got the editor note. And so deep within the ruined edifice, Power Pack and the New Mutants go to work side by side, clearing rubble from the cave-in, hoisting and hauling massive debris to shore up and support surviving structures, pooling their efforts and energies to salvage, repair, and restore, combining their great powers to forge a haven for the innocent refugees of Inferno. Long hours pass in ceaseless labor until all days end. And we see this one patient, like this panel of all these patients super happy and they're being attended to by Gossamer. So it's like, all right, buddy, like Gossamer is very pretty, if not very young, but dressed very scantily. So it's some mixed things. The military show up saying they have engineers to try to repair what they can. And then we get to the panel why we have this issue in my collection. Later on a rooftop, lit by the last bronze rays of sunlight, Gossamer's asking how young the younger brother is. And he's like, yeesh, get your cooties away from me, cripes, girls' cooties, girls, fooey, ick. And it's like, oh man. And Danny explains, when Colossus tore the armor, there was Ileana, but changed into a little 6-year-old. She's been tricked into opening the portal to Limbo in the first place and sacrificed herself to close it off again and save the Earth. See New Mutants 73. And with that is how you get into my collection. But now she's a kid. She has a chance to grow up all over again, only differently this time. Who's going to take care of her? Oh, Katie, I'm sorry. Says, but now she's a kid. She has a chance to grow up all over again, only differently this time. Who's going to take care of her? And Danny continues, and so the demons came from limbo through the portal and all the other stuff. The craziness last night and before was all the wall between us and limbo got gradually thinner as Ileana lost control over it. And then Alex says, and that explains about Kamadi coming back as a monster and everything. Yeah, but it sounds like you guys handle the boogeyman like pros. What about your folks? Are they reacting to all of this and finding out about your powers? And Alex states like he knew the information will crush them, and he's sad that that's the case. It is, and so they all fly away. And Danny's like, "I wish we could help." So they go home, and they just see their mother like singing lullabies to one of Katie's dolls, and she is just not well. And they check in on her father, who's just their father, who's just sitting in a dark room, staring off, and just like rambling about how they need parents, they need super parents because they're super children, and they're children, so they should have a childhood, but they're superheroes, and superheroes don't have childhoods. And so the Power Pack's just like, what do we do? And so there's a knock on the door, and Warlock, Sunspot, Gossamer, Danny are back in. Danny's apologizing that this has gotten out of hand, that due to Inferno, well, this explains because it's a little complicated. Like, we're superheroes, and last night this whole mess was all our fault in a way. One of our team was the reluctant mistress of Limbo. She lost control over that dimension. When demons there rebelled, this boogeyman, Karmati, was really a part of all of that. We learned Karmati hated mutant children during our fight with the Right, a group of anti-mutant terrorists. For some reason, Karmati had the delusion your kids were mutants too, that they were responsible for him losing money on some broken invention. After we tossed him into limbo for safekeeping, the demons changed him into the monster you saw. When Karmoti escaped during the limbo revolt, we knew he would try to kill your kids, but we were tied up with fighting the rebellion. So we came up with a scheme to save your children by replacing them with these super-powered decoys. We figured the decoys would stop Karmati while we kept your kids in hiding. Now it's safe for them to return. And they open the door, and their kids come running in. It's unfortunate that Alex is wearing a red shirt, and the younger brother's hair is red, so it just looked like a big old red mess right there. But I see the distinctions of the two. So the parents are super happy. Um, and so they're like, well, what's going to happen to the superhero ones? Like, oh, they'll just fade away. Don't worry. And then Alex is like, sorry, we tricked you. We didn't know we were duplicates. And the mom's like, well, it's all right. You saved our lives. Thank you so much. We love you as well. And so then we see the entire Powers family fall asleep on what must be a king size bed, maybe a California king. But who knows how they got into this New York apartment. And then we get to the saddest panel where they're just like, the Power Pack's just crying because, like, well, I guess we don't have parents anymore. Like, they're just gonna live with these ghost children. And the younger brother's like, maybe we can peek in the window sometimes and just look at them? And Danny's like, no, 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 you guys, wait. We're not finished yet. You'll notice that as soon as I wish for my dream spirit back, that bed quickly has four vacancies to fill. But in that long time between this panel of seeing the family falling asleep and them crying, like they must have had so many thoughts. And Danny's like, okay, guys, hop in bed where you belong. Mom and Dad are sound asleep. And so the issue ends with Danny about to close their door, saying they've seen some dark, terrible times, these kids. They fought as hard and well as any team of grown up superheroes. But for all their wondrous abilities, I think their greatest wonder is here. A family like this to rare a gift not to be cherished and protected for as long as it can last. So sleep tight, Power Pack. The dark times are over. It's time to be children again. The end. But then what do they do when they see the super powered power pack bouncing around in the world? Just think it's their illusion selves and then they have to continue the masquerade? I don't know. And so there's letters here from Richard Nigg from Wilbraham, Massachusetts. That's Nigg, like NG. That's it. Just those two letters. Jason Croster from Lancaster, California. Dan Wilson from Lafayette, Indiana. I don't know. This book is, I don't know why. It must have fallen under a different publishing issue, but like the credit page was on the inside cover ad, and then there's more letters on the inside back cover. So what is happening here? Well, someone wrote a letter with multiple points. Ricky Taylor, and they just respond back with, "Thanks, Ricky, for your elegant letter. It certainly contributes to understanding between the two worlds." And it's like, all right. And then there's final letters from Jeanette Atwood from Farmington, Utah. Next issue, the boogeyman's gone, or is he? His shadow hangs over Julie's graduation as she has to be decided. Is she a child or a hero? Who am I this time in 6 weeks? But I'm pretty sure this is the last issue of Power Pack I have. So I'm going to upload on Twitter and Instagram that one panel. And you can find that at SNFWM. And you can follow me on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Blue Sky at Jacko SII. And we got some fun videos up there. Walker D. World played the Big Bang event. So if you like Fortnite and missed it, he has a video on there at Walker D. World, which I think I already said. And um, and then I got our Advent calendar video up there. So we're doing some things on YouTube, trying to keep it lively. So thank you everyone for listening. If you like and subscribe and tell a friend to listen, we appreciate it. And I'll talk to you next time. All right, everyone. Bye.